In some of my previous videos, I pointed out that when people played Rule of Rose, they missed the complex plot and story beats that made that game the gem I feel like it is. And judging by the support for the video, I would say that the fans of the game feel the same way. The thing is, that was me for this game. I had no idea what the hell was going on, but I was so in for the ride. I enjoyed my time with this game, was extremely happy to say that I own a copy of it, but if you were to ask me what the game was about, I would have to respond with a solid, I have no idea. I started to dig into the game and managed to learn a bit about what the heck was actually going on. For starters is the name Kuon. Learning what that word means tells you a lot about the game is actually about. Go figure. Kuon means eternity or 9 grudges. I know that means nothing right off the bat, but I firmly believe in the idea that words have a meaning and a purpose. The official strategy guide has an amazing interview section with Tatsushi Taniguchi, who is the game's producer. Kuon is set in the Heian period. What was the reason behind you choosing this time period? It was because it was a strange time, even for Japanese history, in which it wouldn't be strange for there to be odd creatures and beasts. It had a unique view with regards to things like lifestyle, makeup, and old court music, and charmed by their sexiness, we choose the Heian era. Were there things you found during the construction of the worldview and creation of the characters, etc., that were made easier or harder due to the Heian era setting? Particularly in regards to creation of the characters, I don't really have any memories of struggling with anything. Gathering materials was tough. There are a lot of books about it, but naturally there are no photos. But working on Kuon proved to be a good opportunity to learn about that era. The game itself is played in multiple chapters. There are 3, in fact, in which you play as different characters, all of which have their own play style. Kuon plays out in a multi-scenario format and is divided into 3 chapters: Yin, Yang, and Kuon. Please tell us why you used that system and why you wanted to play out over multiple scenarios. I wanted people to enjoy the scenario and wonder what comes next. What happens? To create that situation, we decided to have multiple scenarios that would be most fitting and went with that. If it says anything about how much information I missed, we played the character Utsuki, the younger sister of Kuria. For some reason, I couldn't remember who was who and had to rewrite a good portion of this because it wasn't until later I realized I had all the names flipped around. Not sure how that happened, either way. Spoilers for the game are starting right here. You have been warned. Last warning. So we are led to believe that Kuria was weak from a fall she had as a kid, when in fact, she died. This was done when the Mulberry twins distracted Utsuki while trying to save her. This is what sets the game's events in motion. Their father, Domon, who was inspired by an actual person in history, decided to learn the Kuon spell and use it to bring Korea back to life. Now, the spell was most likely learned by the Mulberry twins. I know I'm throwing a lot out there. If you're as lost as I was, you're still in good shape. The twins are spirits that were encased in the mulberry trees, one found at the shrine where Domon and the family lived, and another at the manor in which the game is played. The spell, which was the most confusing part of the story for me, and which is why I wanted to make this video, is rather gruesome when you actually learn about it. In order to complete the ritual, you have to fuse with a corpse 9 times. So when Korea died, she was brought back, though the ritual seemed to be incomplete. So by the end of the game, she was dead from being unable to finish that ritual completely. Domon, dead and absorbed in someone else's ritual, to be named later. Dokai, Doru, and Dochen, all dead. Dokai failed to fuse with someone and died in battle with Sakuya. Doryo was killed and absorbed by Korea. Dochin was killed by Lady Fujiwara. That's right, another fucking character in all this craziness. That whole family, the Fujiwaras, had a miserable fate in this game. Lord and Lady Fujiwara are boss characters in this and are residents of the manor in which we are checking out throughout the game. The daughter is killed by Korea. The son, who managed to leave some journals for the player to find throughout the game, is never actually seen, but was apparently eaten by his own mother. The Lord and Lady are killed by Sakuya, the daughter of Domon, the evil dude, and Jesus, this is already getting nuts. Domon is killed, in the end, by Abe no Saimai, another historical figure, but the gender is swapped in this game for some reason. No idea why, but I'm not complaining. When he dies, Utsuki, who is apparently 8 bodies deep in the ritual, fuses with her father in order to be reborn. Abe spares her at the request of Sakuya, who survives the whole ordeal and now is in charge of the reborn Utsuki. Are you confused? This game is a trip, and the story is all over the place, and it doesn't help that it's told in 3 different chapters. And even after reading, playing the game, watching videos, I still feel like I'm only scratching the surface with this game, and my head hurts as I'm writing this. This game is the distillation of death through stupid spiritual rituals. The levels of depravity someone will go in order to be essentially immortal, including Domon sacrificing his own kids in order to start the ritual. I have a hard time believing he was doing this all for the sake of his daughters. If that's the case, why was so many people being used to work on the Kuon ritual? All of his disciples were used in this. Either way, I'm planning on getting into some character deep dives for this game, similar to what I've done with the Rule of Rose characters if people are interested. As much as I'm a stickler for buying games, I will point out that this one is even more cost ineffective for people, as it's more expensive than both Haunting Ground and Rule of Rose. I don't usually push emulation when it comes to gaming, but I spent $750 on my copy, and frankly, I have a really hard time telling people that they need to own their own physical copy. Either way, long days, pleasant nights, and may you have twice the number.